here we have a tomb, a time of Jesus, a recreation. This is the inside of the tomb, so you have to imagine there's a wall here, another wall here. There'll be a small entrance like this right here, with a big stone over the entranceway. And most of the stones covering the entranceway were square and not round. There are some round ones, but mainly they use square to block up the hole. So you sort of have to like crawl in, and then it opens up here. This is about a 10 foot by 10 foot and about this height. And you would lay the body out like this, and then you come back 1 year later, you gather up the bones, and then you put the bones in a bone box called an ossuary. And then you can put the ossuary back in one of these niches here. And then this would be a family tomb, so you keep reusing this over and over again for your family, and you had to be very, very rich in order to afford a tomb like this. Now there was one tomb near Jerusalem that was all sealed up, and when they opened it up, the body, part of the body and the shroud was still there. I think it's called the shroud tomb. And they sealed it all up because he had leprosy. But because of that sealing up, they were able to get to see how a shroud looks like, parts of it, and how it was woven. And it's different from the Shroud of Turin. So that was a very interesting discovery. Now, people who weren't rich and could afford a tomb, the poor, this is how the poor were buried. You just dug a pit, put the body in it, covered up with dirt, and that was the end of it. No tomb, no ossuary for the poor, for most people. It was just for the very, very rich that you would have a tomb. And something for the tomb, the new tomb of Jesus, it might have been they just carved out a new niche there. And this is for the first century. This is how they would make the tombs until 70 AD when Titus destroyed Jerusalem. There was no more burials like this. The Jews were scattered. Then we have where the kids can dig for treasures here. And back behind here we have the catacombs of Rome. Where they have the different places where the tombs were. This is just a recreation, it's not exact, but it gives you an idea. The catacombs of Rome. Then we have benches where they can sit on and even do an archaeological dig here. And maybe I'll show you how you can do an archaeological dig here. Usually you have your trowel and you scrape it all off and get it in. Then you can put it in what they call the gufa. This was in Jordan. And you fill it up here. Then you can take it to a wheelbarrow, a place where you can sift it. So you'd have a screen, and then you could pour it in the screen. And you sift it through the screen and see if there's anything here. Well, there's something there. That doesn't look right. That was original. But you sift through and see what you can find. But that gives you an idea of how they do digs over in Israel and Jordan. This is archaeological dig. Then over here we have our altar based on the one you find at Beersheba. But in the Bible it talks about using unhewn stones that man didn't chisel. Then over here we have an olive press. What you do, you gather the olives and you put them in the center here, and then you have a beam, and you put weights on it, and then you put a big stone on it, so it presses down on it, and the olive oil would come out, and you can put it in jugs. Now, the first pressing was called extra virgin olive oil. That was the very first pressing, and that oil was used for the temple, for the menorah, the candlesticks. And you use that for the temple. Then you would press it down, put another weight on it, and press it down more, and you get more oil coming out. And then you put it in little jars. And the last pressing you would use for your oil lamps. You pour the oil in, you have a wick, and you'd soak it in the olive oil and light it, and that would be their light for inside. Then we'll go over here. This is our gemstones. So for kids to dig and try to find gemstones. And then we have another for fossil pit over here. Some fossils in it. And then we have another one for shark's teeth. This is from Aurora, North Carolina. They have a big phosphate mine there. This is where this comes from. And the kids can dig for shells, for shark's teeth, and other fossils in here. And then we have our dinosaur dig here, where there's small little pieces of dinosaur bones that they can try to dig up and find. And the younger kids love digging and trying to find all these different gemstones and fossils. And that gives you an idea of what we have here at the Bible History Exhibits.